and who say me content na me na different cra e pensa cause I don't remember buo amanfo bu and say ni amanfo susu enu agina enti me so me da mabufu me da mafutu nas at once a while I do baby should ya sabi I na bi kan na so aka bi a kire and there maybe I see you do me a do. I am not being yet Roman Catholic Pope. I can tell me I should be at the receiving end. No beer can, no beer can. And if I'm so I can put, not some can fret you, all can answer some. All can some about, all can some tassum, all can some about singing getting dinner. I know yes. Oh, Nimshe, on the shave. What you know, Cassa boo 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 boo, abandoning Yansen, Tiasiadim. Just say, so we anything. Just say, OMPP. Just say, old Cassa, most of our lectures in my assentiment. And just because of that. I mean, so me, I owe nobody an apology. I owe nobody an apology. Me perchawa nebia historically ayibia me de me. Obi wo US a friend me say or send them text message bi e ma me odman. No can say onye ni say mampon hene bi betima ware ba wo dwabe. Na me ka say wa abako se mu obuka ya tro obenya no ose kwadwo buku no ose kwadwo ashati history obenya no njo ma me ko pe dwaben ana obisa me dwaben hema no the friend panche ana panche etime de man oya de osani bai the right up bi ba se and ana panche ya asana ko dwabe abakosim na onye ni se eya joso dwabe ha na be ye kofodua dwabe ogitum se oware ampa first no ni but onye ni se eya joso dwabe ha ogi se eya kofodua dwabe no se o e fine so wo bo ama ye nyina because e ka dwabe ha ebetima ya joso dwabe ebetima ya kofodua dwabe already so Switzerland also friend and I'm a pay so the chrome na pass na onim na no na to send make asam and na to send ra make asam me can pass onim se kuro nda so ka sa ya pass o ya kama po asam a pass no no any ekiribia apaso wo no for traditionally apaso no wo no nyina apaso wo no jamase efidase o nyina ahye mampom ase o nyina ahye mampom ase. Now another person so besides what is in shutana mampom akonda na menye sa research na ayampa owura na owo Australia on Sunday message no ayampa bedase na ya research na san suta ene mampom akonda maybe everything e bia ka se suta fo nya ba bi da mampom fo maybe nim but in suta na mampom fo akonda no correct wa se man kan no correct. Another person in the US also can say in suta mampom Jamasio, if you just you, assassin in I such your friend is such that one meaning that I don't know yet. Pray mampom. Answer because some mampom for no, I say a dance and I say. So a pray movement, you know, omo na siaman eba ansana etuo eba ansana amanyampo eba ansana anantuo boahen. No, anantuo boahen around 1690. And anantuo boahen echo denchira war no 1699 1700. So pray asanteman no nyina de ene heman nyina ye isechere adwuratia no nyina ye sechere fo asase majetum but nyina ye pray no just say before the formation of Asanteman in 1700. Pray before, post, after. So and also so majetum. And so Madam Masepa, I'm extremely happy, sir. Like I said, we had discussion about certain paths in Ghana. Amount for a bizarre, amount for more assignment, amount for some more contributions. However, we have certain party with the amount for more activity, amount for more cassette, amount for more kutiabo. There we go. You know, there we go. Look, Meka at the end, I beg you to say, Bosomini. A better na Meka Mamprusi. So Mamprusi for Medi Bokwakunya 1721. From 1721 to 1959, one kuta paper. Mom kuta paper, monya calculation. Then the Kusasi numbers 1959, 58, 59. But a new dimension has emerged. Me wa me chambers Kumasi Friday. Me wa me chambers Kumasi Friday. Na minya call na nipa mo kachira me say pese be mam education kakra bi se menya adage ma o ma na say oh why not enti na me so ya ka no kra bi se be basa na ga na yu ntino o ba chambers no me she bi dem na ba sa so mo ba me chambers no the open place hawk siena ebeti na fa nipa be ya duru na me sha da na wo motena na otherwise so o kan saba wo. So for security reasons now additional dia menya no Friday no na no fe da na minimum da in my life say some busanga for no dina ye de fra wo pa na ye bisa. No, so me come historical narrations. I am a busanga for and a bis. Minimuda. One Mamprusi Kusasi Abaka Sama Mekaye, and a Kusasi yese, and a Mamprusi yese, and a Kusasi yese, and a Mamprusi yese. Obia said that abetana say, some chromo, Fape, Nishan, dear no. Faka, when you get near Darcy. Pass. Oka Mamprusi Kusasi for us. For the first time, I let us a sadna be aka busanga any bisa for me. I bisa for bisano kasi broni no ntimu na omo ye busanga bibi to aso na broni no ntimu nka na broni nka bisa. Now education on Friday no menya no ama me hu say so uko kulungungwa our 90% of the population though are bisa for oba bokwa most of the shops are bisa na say man for better say be no are busanga for but the baba wo no me na make bisa benim Mamprusi nini Kusasi nini be ya wase ha yenim no abia beti se maka bisa bi agina homa busanga babia maka busanga bi aso agina homa bisa Now it is also known, sir, trading activities, both Mamprisi and Kusasino, Bisafone yet trading Oko Kumasi Jene market, Oko Kumasi Mayanka, Oko Sunyane Jene, Oko Sunyane Mayanka, Okonka Mayanka, About Sir Yehu Babe Dika, a Gadie, I Fabese, Yadi Emu Binim, Fabese, or Yaman Prisinia, or Yakusasini, and Pom, a Yasian Abacos, yes, Adia. Nipa no ni aka so siremfo no beto geni wa siremfo no beto no na ntwina mo mayanka siremfo on wa generalize no saa na te say so yakọ siremu a oka se twini twifo bi baka na kan beto baka twifo oka twifo a onu de ode achimi asantini adansini kwawu ahanta wasa sashi ebono nafana bafre nyina twifuo saasun baba ha yase afre nyina no se siremfo badan ya suam yenimu ya kwadaremu ya na yetiri ya distinction me say bebre because minimu masuam makwadaremu me hyawa na mabisa okromu a uka okro na minhu a meka so kaka kurokase benho ka kurokase uka na so okro no eben tamale a meka so we dagombani uka na ka se bia oben bole ana bupe ana damangwa meka so we gonjani Okana kasa odan wa nakasa oye wala Okana so kasa oye Laura ana Dioria makaka so oye bagati ni Okasa tumua makasa oye sala because I know masua minim so I'm conversant with the terrain etibedie mitimi chirim Oka so ye bombo me say awoya frafrani am say e betima ye 100% correct for instance utie ya na un kan jagania e da so obeka so ekusasini or oyemamprisini because area ho dini ayen ye wasafo ha ye nimmo no ye kusasi ani mamprisi me yenim kanjaga me kanjaga for so different ethnic group o ko bokwa around zebila obenya kanjaga you may think say na ringu ni bia anabrungu yoyo ni bia no oye mamprisi baby ya bunku yoyo a bi ya konkoma konkoma anya mamprisi but no so when you conversation with this history, in terms of presentation and our submission about enough, and it doesn't mean that so will be free. Laura or Dagatinia only Niakoso Boko Mamprisi Kusasidari. It is like yeah, one film finish. So be free Kumasia. Na oya asantini, oya kani, oya twini. But then you are so duan kwanta, and I am so attachment here, and I am so became not with him. So sometimes yeah, one film free and you am from Subi, but free because me grab a young woman, she and in India, my any son and mercy. Upon home more than some percent and can mean. So sometimes I might a response to Nyama Bino, Yeti Oko Western Regional, Would there be a wagon and says, oh, I wagon is a Western region. Western region. Oh, free Western region. Free Western region. What can we? But Western region, Ubanya Wasa. Western region, Ubanya Hunter. Western region, Ubanya Zama. Western region, Ubanya Sefifo. Western region, about one more minor group of Blusa for Wudam Cote d'Ivoire. Blusa for Wudam Cote d'Ivoire. And then what would you Wasani and Sashini? Because they are in the mining area. But there's a difference, there's a distinction between Wasani and Sashini. Just that Kassan Koran be Yanaso say, Obetimiati, Wasani and Sashini, Yanabe Kasa. Me outside and mean to me a difference. But Sashini, no better than say, we not some more come Wasani. Wasani, so like I said, we are Sashini. And there's another group of beer. So she can't have a bear Wasaka san bear cote. I will enforce you. If you don't take care, what is the man? No back of fat. So we need to learn more and we need to study more. We need to learn more and we need to study more. No, but because I want my, for instance, what is a sampani kasa? Na what is a sequani kasa? Anya tree na or canon. Why did I use a sampani not to sequa kasa? Sequa so to some. Yeah, one more betty, but this will be prim now so betty me. But me, I made a mental sequa mental sample idea. Sequa castle, sample castle mental share. But sample casa, sequa in the betimatibi. Sequa in the so casa, sample betimatibi. Bandani casa, more no betimatibi. More so casa, bandani no betimatibi. The mere mental dear, mental buy. Mental buy. So that is the problem sometimes we have in Ghana. And that goes to end science and so when you are speaking the Bonolang, oh, can Bonoa. Bonocrano, Bonoa, Cano Crano, and Slew.
No beacon.
Bonocra, Cano Bonocran, Slew. So prim was one. Onya Bonobia, Bononia, and Cranquanta. Near Alba Doma, near Alba one field, or can a Bonoa. And yet slightly different from Drobo, Japecrum, Quincelcrum, no Zozomia Bono. Young and I bet it, but there's slight difference. Even within Sunyani town, you have Abyssum forming part of Sunyani municipal. You have Domasi, Fear Prechera, one way Sunyani West, but Fear Pre Domasi Casa, all can tree, all can bono. But there's a slight difference from saying a Chiranino or a Chiranino or a local to some me or me local. Me can. If I make sometimes, you know, some names a big and bono. Maybe associate me bono, not with Sunyana bono. And people don't associate. Yeah, I agree. Because maybe they need a deep bono. Maybe they need a deep bono. And therefore, maybe bono, maybe me can. Me krom domase kora ne ba nyina ne betimte de ba nyina last week Sunday the kobabi ansani yatikam na ye to watermelon nim ga se mame na watermelon na bo anya oh lawyer watermelon na bo anya dene na bo de anya dene kora atufo bo the way mame ne kan na bo no me hu say ye meme bo no bia. But my not on again was in any job. Or tongue was in any job. Then, instinctively, when I said, my man, and I will free him. And send my man back up, be free. All I said, besides, so free, all that. Young Bonnie have been walking, but never no man free, part of Germany. to be precise, German of. But me bono no me kan wo sunya no dwom ho no ene ne ma me kan ye no binu wo dwom ho abeya ye gina ye fre ho abonfo a bent or ment even bent kura me no mo ka sesiye even sesiye me gusu am kai kura bent no binu ya buruni onte me nya me ka bent na me kan onte. That is true. Are you correct? Are you possible? So that explains why I'm playing the brain, like I said. So you think that there's a region known as Bono region. The fact that we are in Bono region doesn't make all of us one complete people. In terms of even dialect, Bono me Bono ye deep. Me am free domase me Bono ye deep. Domase no krom kan binim ko sunani Bono no. Enya me obiri boahen. Me de mu aduru mu do. Maybe they are more do more because me life no be pray we kurase. And therefore ya tell kurase chair no. Ya deep bono no. Chali ba be wodo mase no a se be o wantena kurase be wono asunyane ana be wono kumase. Na mama ne papa nyina ya domasefo and the principle that o me ya bonfo. But no bono no e deep to se me de no. So if you are ignorant of these things, now, per se, even who about YouTube and TikTok, no cry, oh, bono, no, can cry. Or be a bono, but ultimately, I see. And therefore, don't presume, sir, walk and bono, or be a bono region, nubiano, as I saw in your walk and was it, as I saw also was it, as I saw no your back. That is wrong. Academically, that is wrong. Intellectually, that is wrong. Linguistically, that is wrong. Morally, that is wrong. Politically, that is wrong. Socially, that is also wrong. And culturally, that is also wrong.
Also, some sound like Fanti and some sound like Tree.
Exactly. Some sound like Fanti, some like Tree. No? And that is how it goes, No, look, even Ashanti region, let me help those the ignorant ones. Ashanti region, Ashanti region starting from 1700. Ababa Frebenina, Ashanti 1700 to net 2025. A dance for the country beer. Utims no, and you come for the Libya. For more than 325 years. Ayadanya today she ni bi ubenya ukono formena ubenya na kokere ubenya na oboase ubenya ya ayase ubenya na dompoase oka kumasi ni kuta santo nation no and that nation na dance ni kai a dance to nation a dance form ko ena kwa amanfo nko ne be nyina be keka bo ma be ya asantefo a dance form ko kwa amanfo nko offenso fonko edoso fonko agona fonko suta fonko mampon fonko amakom fonko tafu fonko bekwai fonko kokofu fonko esubija fonko ne be nyira be kabom ne be ye asante man. So if you don't know their history, you are bound to be groping in the darkness. Ube young from Sonu Baby. From Sonu Baby. So when you say Asante Hene no, and ban from party as well as one Kwamai Hene. But the unification no by and Abenina Kambom, federal or confederal. Then the Asante Hene no became the president of the federal state or the president of the confederal state. The president of the federal state or the president of the confederal state. In fact, you have that also. That explains why I tell the American say, I am for no. You have the same similarity, no? Ubenya war, mampusi for. No, ubenya konkoma for, mosi for, mampusi for, mampurugu for. And no, you benya bisa for kakraka. Ubenya fa kakra aka. Then they make it Nayiri. So that one also is a federal or confederal. Federal or confederation. Then the Nayiri will be the president. The Nayiri is not the president of one stool or one state. The Nayiri is the president of a confederation or a federal stools, and therefore the president Nayiri. The Yabonra is not the president. Yabonra is the president of several stools. Ubetimanya Tampuma, Ubenya Gonja, Ubenya Mo. The Mo person is different from the Gonja. The Mo is different from Gonja. The Tampuma is different from the Gonja. But yet the Yabonra is the it's a federal state, unitary state. Tampuma unitary state, Mo unitary state, Gonja unitary state. Nebena federal. Even the unitary state in the Quran, Bole unitary state, Bupe unitary state. And then you have unitary states. That's how unitary states in I know the president of the federal state or the president of the confederation. So if you are ignorant of that, you think that the Yabonra is the same status with the president. To say, Domasi number 1 or Domasi number 2, man. Domasi number 1 is a unitary state. Domasi number 2 is a unitary state. So, Domasi number 1 team Kambo, Libenya Heneba Akuma, and then a federal or confederal. Because one unitary state, another unitary state coming together, confederal. That explains the Ashanti. So when the ignorance comes in, the person is not prepared to say, or Pafa, or Debbie. And as I'm for the other gather, in India, what? Because the Mampon person is, Mampon is 6'2", Offenso is 6'2", the same, Agona is 6'2", Insuta is 6'2", Drabe is 6'2". Name them. And some of these tools look like older than Kwame. Some of these tools look like older than Kwame. Not even a Santimayo, Kwame. A Binuman in the chain, Kwame. I'm a common in the chain, Kwame. Tafua in the chain, Kwame. So Tama Tafuya unitary state, Nama come a unitary state. Na Kwame a unitary state. But in 1700 they agreed. I'm a unitary state. Wabajone, Asemaka Confederation. Tafo, Asemaka home, Kwamai, Asemaka home, Ajoso, Asemaka home, Kokofu, Asumija, wait. Unitary states, about 60. So when you talk of Asantemai, you are talking of unitary states about getting to 70 stools. And those stools are paramount stools. So about 70 paramount stools now you call it the Asantemai. And therefore the president of the Asantemai can be likened to the president of a federal state, like the president of the United States of America, or like the president of Nigeria. So in proper political balance, the president of Nigeria, you see him as one. But in actual fact, he's the president of states, and every state is equal to a country like Ghana. So, I mean, it would be so ridiculous maybe to talk about, say, Ghana Mampagini, yeah, Nigeria Mampagini, but Nigeria, that explains why Nigeria, when Nigeria is talking about 260 million human beings, Ghana is also talking about 32 million human beings. So when I just state case. So is this ignorance that has made it impossible? I use it ignorance that has made it impossible for people to make a distinction between the Yabonra, the Nairi, the Asante, the Yabonra, the Nairi, and then the Asante, the Yabonra, the Yana, the Nairi. On one side, as against the others. So well, I may pardon them for their ignorance, but when they are prepared to learn, so in actual fact, that something is not occupying just one stool, or the Yabongra occupying just one skin, or the Nairi occupying he presides over. In fact, in history, we call them primus inter pares. In history, Yabefra primus inter pares. That is how Adu Boahen will describe them. Primus inter pares. The first among the equals. So when you live in a society, you primus inter pares. Ba benim no. Ba kasa bia, okay bia tia. But me and me ma kwadare mani ni wa kwadare mu ni say, oh hene no ya primus inter pares. My approach will be different. Because I know that the one who occupies the skin, the Nairi skin, or who occupies the Yana skin, or who occupies the Yabonra skin, or who occupies the Asante stool. Even look at the West America, Church of West. Mre Nairi skin, Yabonra skin, Yana skin. Me better Asante Pamela stool. And that I'm right. The knowledgeable person knows the difference between skin and stool. But so you want me to say, Nairi occupies skin, Yana skin, Yabonra skin. Me better something go castole. He no be boy when you are. He needs some be oy. He needs some be oy. But again some I had this idea mudo. I had this idea mudo. And now no lectures and one missing lectures pa. Tier nano pa lectures yansana wa kwa Sunday. Tier nano pa lectures yansana wa ko long tennis akwakobo. Tier nano pa lectures yansana wa ko kifit. Because lectures mudo. Anya lectures keke namba ye minkuta paper. Coming back to the Bumprusi Kusasi, the Bisa. And therefore, you know that even though in history, it is the Kusasi, Abu Drago, who are enscaled the chief of Kulungungu. Kulungungu, no, about 80-90% Busanga for. And therefore, properly considered, one thing I say Kulungungu for, or me a Kusasi for, and now me a Mamprisi for. You know? Even in Boko town itself, from Bisafo, Hopa, Zebula, Bisao, Garutimpane, Bisafo, Pusiga, Bisafo. And for the first time I remember education, we know the Bisa, no, anytime I bet you Busanga piano, now a Bisa. And the late Hawa Yakubu was a Busanga, Bisa. The late Hawa Yakubu was Busanga, Bisa. And the Bisas have land, Bisa for no, one was as a do Burkina Faso, and Togo. So, man, Trangana, Nasa Yakana Peso Behu, Yakana Peso Betria, Yakana the other OMPP, one penty, Yakana the OMDC, one pentia. Ehia pa. Because you see, the Boko conflict is not as simple as we all see. Those of us are learning history, no? And then Ebia, we sociology. When you say the Boko conflict is not simple, yeah, Pampire say ye beto ye. Nanyame mo man into ye, but it is a very complex thing. Because you see, so one share ya. Otum for any bad thing. But they can't say more. We're there for the purpose of education. And they can't say. Otum for a casa. My own son, I said, I am complex here. And it is either I'm a friend, Bisa, no, my friend Mosifo at the back. But no, me as Obiama Quadari history, the politics, sir. So, Otum for Casa, who represent the business, who represent the Mosism, as I saw two for Nana in homework. Mama. Kusasi for and I'm prison from Kofa Bisa for being no man. Because of Obati Yama, Mamprusifoɔ bi bɛkɔ akɔfa bisafoɔ bi a they are sympathetic towards the Mamprusi cause. Nti Mamprusifoɔ no ba bɛne bɛmforo ka bɛbɛforo bɛka ne wei nso aforo bɛka ne ba abɔ bɛni akyerɛ bɛ nti bɛba bɛrɛ Mamprusifoɔ a bɛrɛ yɛnie bisaso wɔ he bɛrɛ yɛnie ɛnso na bia bisafoɔ no either say bia na Mamprusifoɔ no ahyɛda because wɔn selected individuals bia they are sympathetic to the Mamprusi cause. That can be possible. Many people can chapa ya. Na mo adamfo boy friend ya. Ya ori nsapa na ya o ya super na nyefe. Na ya si adamfo ba ko be sra no. Ya adamfo no so ya onim so was kapa. Ya free wa na o ka che na girlfriend say madamfo na ba madamfo so di opema ba. Nti ba mi so ba ka say mi opeba na nada. Me do be ko. Otisha wa ade a che sika no de ma no wa brembi. Eti yaw madam for as usual we are no kachire ya say yaw ya konom bi ya na ya num bi pe ba abra me ya afro na girl no ama na girl no na madam for no koda go say madam for no sika o wi na to man girl no nti akoye na ya akochi a chere ya kache say o si yaw de ne girl na ko say e ba bi neutral bi o ba bi so na ya ne girl abana so no ne yaw suba no nye o je sika na wakoma yaw bi. So it is very important, and I wish one day if I get the audience with the Tumfua, we will discuss it. He himself should make sure kono ba fa so obenya mosifo na msifo kono ba fa so because o tianya yi a obeti manya Mamprusifoɔ ba kwa fa mosifo bi no aba na ba ka so we no oh, ya mumpo pamano, mumma ben who say any of them call. More represented the Musi. That possibility is there. So also that possibility is there. Kusasi for Subaka for Bisafobin and now Mosi for Binumaba. That possibility is there. Because I don't say no my obia per numbers. Obia per numbers. Some 4 per numbers, not to set as for. So it makes it fragile. It makes it fragile. So anytime you make a comparison between a unity state and a federal state, you are making a problem. You are creating a problem. You are making a mistake. The fact that country no not a unity state, fine. Country is not a federal state, so fine. But the caveat here is that you should look at the ethnic background, the ancient. And therefore, if you don't have knowledge, Ubeka said, Asante Heneno, out here could not or you just or Heneba Cope. And or you just Heneba Cope to semicron number 1. And or you just Heneba Cope to semicron number 2. Now, I am free to talk about Insiatre. Now, I am free to talk about Sunyane because Sunyane man in our bay. Madame for no. It's all there. Make a only matem. On yap. So, do you don't equate the Asante Heneno with Odomase number 1 or Sunyane or Odomase number 2 or Insiatre? Because I don't know the other primus, like I said, the primus inter pares. So when I said the primus inter pares, I was wrong. No, you cannot equate the position of American president to that of Ghana's president. Because America has so many states. And one state will be a population, it will sika, it will resources, it will be Ghana. It is like Nigeria. In natural fact, you don't Nigeria Mampanini. No recognition, no reputation. I'm a to Ghana Mampanino. No, because Lagos State alone has a population than Ghana. But the president of Nigeria presides over so many states. So it makes Nigeria a federal or a confederal. A federal or confederal in a loose sense. So that is it. So now being an against the Boko crisis. Mama, we are West affected me a Mamprusi and Kusasi. No, the business and the Moses are also affected because the business and the Moses are carrying out businesses over there. The business and the Moses, yeah, I agree. The Moses are Burkina Faso. But Binum Burkina Faso, Binuma better than Ghana Hache. Like Zamanama for, like Sokoto for, like Fulani. Fulani are better than Aladi Grisa. Me and Madame for Aladi Grisa. Aladi Grisa is getting to about 100 years. But Aladi Grisa Papa should have one more. So Aladi Grisa admits that some Fulani. But at least what the boy my name and Papa is about 200 years. So when you say Aladi Grisa or your Fulani in Trunk or coin. That is how things go. That is how things work. But when you are ready, so mission and you want to be Biafra. Nobody behind the Gambin Maya. Nobody behind the Jeep. Nobody behind the Acacia. And that is all. Dear son, I'm a kind idea, and my idea, and my entire Majim and I'm a Acacia. And this analysis I've made today, and people who can read and write. Nyansa phone in therefore, even not those who can read and write. Nyansa phone in therefore, baby, Nyoki Chinesakura, where Jayo OT. Yanisa Dianim, or Jaya OT. Minya, I bet him grab us or be a trio, make a trio on 1 minute. And so, Obribo and Casa de Nimin, Nimin Tier, because I saw Obribo and Yakandia. My hair, come on, Mania Jana, the air banner. No Obribo Yakan. And the journey to Craminti and Obribo. I am interested in what Obribo will say. More than I don't know, air corps, agroneco. But I look at a where them so mummy profile. Ban cracks a 2 Obribo Heka said, I am the part 2 Mammy Minty and Yansana, while baby to do so. No, I mean, these are things, and it's the truth. Because I read a lot, I do a lot of research, I read a lot. Majumani, I can can and a ball, I can can and a ball. Enti, near Biddy Ben Fian Numba can over whom, me met in the donation about a packing cannon. It is like people discussing about Ghana's dollar. A Ghana dollar, a Gina, oh, yes, a Gina. It's a good news. But no, honestly, no, Obia name me across international trading. Donald Trump, water is then all cool, we are seeing affecting the dollar all over the world. Affecting the dollar all over the world. In fact, Donald Trump trade water is all in actually Ukraine a Russia war. Its effect actually Ukraine Russia war. So naturally it will affect the dollar. And therefore it will affect every country in the world. And I will not be surprised, sir. Say trade war, no tariffs war, a cost for even 1 year. Dollar be from Palm and dollar be do single decade. Dollar be from and dollar be do single decade. But we stay in Africa, you know. Come on. It don't let you know, yeah, don't let you know. What? Come on. Nyanko pono boy before saying. No one that said Nyanko pono crab man bibini meye pope. No, because I agree. There's a change of government. I agree. Never be want to be fine. What do you mean I said never to you? I will never say so. But I'm saying, sir, war no so yeah, and also affected the dollar. Because if say no, can never bo abofum. But never bo no mafum. Me boy. When that you want ma only Donald Trump no war tariffs no once a Michael. We are seeing 1 million. The war between and no China recently says look, some war tariffs no and trade tariffs no Trump for you. It is like the war of the jungle. That is what China said. It is like the war of the jungle. It will be the survivor of the fittest. China and the the war of the jungle. It will be like the survivor of the fittest. Because you know, dollar no ever from my age no. China for the Nebekosro. China for the no ebeko so ampara rupees so no ebeko so so China beko so rupee beko so other currencies be beko so dollar no de ebeba for. This is common knowledge, common sense. Common knowledge, common sense. What being casa me rubbish? You know my lifestyle in politics. Men casa ne bia mampanyina mahama ye zero. No. Men casa. You know my lifestyle. I'm before you na baka say ye zero. Baka say 0, 0, 0. Maka say me dey zero sir. At least positive people. Positive in policies, you know. Even if you don't have positive crown power, yetimia manya revelations be. And kabada nyam so be mbeka kwadete a national cathedral. And kawan de betimi aka say you audit PDS. And kawan de betimi aka say you audit Sky Tree. But yen na ye hu say PDS Sky Tree national cathedral and yet we all complain. Make it through. Mr. National Cathedral, no PDS and Chaye and yet Sky Train from Cradian, make a brand matter. I mean before the brand matter. Oh, Jim, when I not talk say, Henny Jimmy, Henny Quasia. That is common knowledge. Unless, of course, you don't fear God. So, what's wrong, Uncle Pompa? What the battle swam say, PDS. And Chaye, Sky Train, and Chaye, Cathedral, and Chaye. And that people must be held answerable. And I said, boom, I come down. But this guy, I said, the bedroom. You don't need to be in MPP, you don't need to be in NDC in Wemsawi. You need to be a human being. You need to fear God. So, showing you, I mean, you need to be near making a plus. But man, or you better. Then get about man person, or you better, dodo. And that you are better, maybe you better. Maybe say there's no person in this country, Ghana, or your principled and honest is something you people. Challenge me, true or false. NDC, Bebre Boma Basso, MPP, Bebre Boma Basso. Not political characters, Beboma Basso. Beboma Basso, because no Kranaka. Men say, Mamma got the communion as a time master, Roman Fubu, Pope Abaya Manaquaba, Roman Fubu, Mboga got the communion, at the Macasache. And I could problem now she said, and that you have a saying this year. It's here, Madame. But, Lawyer Nana Obiri Boahen TV, Lawyer Nana Obiri Boahen YouTube, Lawyer Nana Obiri Boahen TikTok. Nachiamunina. Now, Uncle Fornosoa. Matisa say ebi so omo boa omo ho Italy. Ebi so say omo boa omo ho wo Spain. On person omo invite me ma ba. Na ebi so say omo boa omo ho Canada. Spain, Italy, Canada. Aya, aso Germany there ma ba ho che so please. O ka se memra wotum. Moi wo Belgium so no me mama so ate mo ka say me mara me ma wotu yes e bia me twam but I think that attention will be Italy for no and UK and then Canada and then the US mo me ansana afiwe no I think we should start now because US no Canada na ya na interview date na ewachi so the UK people, the Italy people, and then the Switzerland people, no, my name secretary, my administrator, my name Bekasa. Then as early as possible. Moi, nipa no matese bi no be mi no na mi ensa. Mo ya ebe mama coordinate no organize no ho. Na maba, me na mo be share. Enche me ba dia match up about 7 days no. Now there are some in Munchi. Dagadu ne baso anum so they are seriously extending invitation to me. Munchin, Mubaka Lumba Nuna, Munchin Dagadu, on the baso and a coffee pea. Also seriously, well I will consider Munchin for no, but Dusseldorf no ne Esane Oberhausen no ne Duisburg for no there is out 0. I'm not coming. Let's be very good. So Italy, Canada, US, and then Germany munching for no. All and I'm ready. Australia for so yes. And then the UAE for so be my send me signals. Those in Bahrain, those in Dubai, those in Kuwait, those in Saudi Arabia. I am prepared to meet. I am prepared to talk. Moba in the Shamana Menoma Kasama Chidam. Yeah, a bear man, some a bear man, or some pa. Ya bear man, for some general, ya bear man, or some MPP people, ya bear. Ya bear can't Ghana back or somewhere, ya bear can. Any ethnic group, I agree. Say a Frau, ya 114. Oh, I think some of these groups are from Ghana movement or Ghana. When you invite me, I will come. I will come. And no matter the ethnic group, we are Busa, and even Cote d'Ivoire, I will come. Maybe I will come every ethnic group. But those group be a bin woman, but they are not tempted. Jindodo, Oninyansa, and can be my please, for goodness sake. Don't try to insult. If you insult, I'll also respond. If you insult, I'll respond. But a university lecturer could be member of these lectures. And it tells a man can be my not the insurance as antifodia, not the Thomas as antifodia, not the Ufuma.
Na kwa bi didu atemo mo dia so esine so didu ni otum for atemo.
It's a madness.
Bono tiger. E fe no bono tiger.
I call it madness. I call it madness. I call it madness. Udi matabudi otum for atemo. Minim kura otrofrim. I call it madness. The friend abodansem. Unime. Menguma shino wadru order. Low-weighted lunatic fool. Low-weighted lunatic fool. If I borrow the words of William Shakespeare. Nansafu etie binim abrochire binim so free wo mon paso korabeda so ni be etie. Okay, so madam nyina say. Now that reckless and irresponsible hatred for no two for no any yan. Maybe I'm about two for. In any case, two for inviting and I'm for the program. How many chiefs in Ghana now am I inviting for their programs? Or two for invited me to Manco, me and me and say Manco. Low-weighted lunatic fool, who shall be now? And the action will be due cut off. I always new cut off. Now I'm talking about. That's a bonus answer. Maybe I make a also your bon tiger. What is I'm gonna need your casa? Man, pussy for no kusasi for no busanga for no, and the gatten no wala for 9 or per betty, we have any again. What is so be a diater?
Obisi jani asumano.
Adana won't quandia, Mukasa moya champion. I've spoken about busanga, wala dagati mosi, maka omo traffic, maka dance, maka something. I've said some Muna quite just why that's all the BBS in so. I just Maninka, I'm a chairman, Yamena Montana.